Did you know you are a consumer? You are not the debtor. You are a natural person. You're not the legal person. You know, the straw man. When it pertains to law and legal status, your input is your output. There is no, oh, I thought this was that. If you make a mistake, they're going to let you know you made a mistake, and it might be some time before you can undo that mistake. Or they might give you a chance to make up for that mistake. But be wise on everything that you file. Be wise about everything that you sign. And be wise about everything that you give your social security number, credit card, or ID or driver's license to. Always keep in mind the word or gives you the opportunity or the option to choose. You are in charge of every transaction. Why? Because every contract or every transaction is negotiable prior to signing. This is why when you go to the dealership, they tell you what you can and can't get. And then what's the next thing they do? They point you to where you can sign. So on paper, it doesn't demonstrate or explain the dealership told me I can do this. It says you agreed to this, that, and the third. Understand they are trading on your securities. Understand that there's a primary market and a secondary market. Think of it like accounting. When there's $100 on this side, there's $100 on that side. Sometimes there can be more on one of the sides due to the credited amount on one of the sides, but don't let that go over your head. I was recently informed that if you don't like something on a contract prior to you actually signing it, use a red pen and cross it out. Also, we all need to learn how to do contracting and how to present people with our own provisions. Sure, I'll sign your contract as long as you can sign mine, but before I sign yours, I need to read over it for at least 3 days. Notice how people don't even give you that option, or you don't even know that's an option that you have. Especially with people with mortgages, loans, auto loans. Sometimes they try to pull that slick card on you like it's internal use for certain information. Or sometimes they try to pull the stunt like it's state law. Well, state law doesn't trump federal law. So basically federal law is always going to be in power over state law no matter what. Because if you escalate it, or depending on how you mail off your stuff, it's automatically going to be pushed or escalated to a federal level, no matter what state you're in. Plus, if you're from the hood, you hear people talk about all the time how the feds is coming. So clearly the state can't overpower the feds in no way, shape, or form. There's 1,000 ways or 1,000,000 ways to skin a cat. And I want y'all to always know that. So when they tell you you can't do this, or when they tell you it's going to be a hard time to get a lawsuit or to win the suit, it's just a scare tactic. Realize that judges have scare tactics. Your lawyer even has scare tactics. They just want your money and want to scare you into paying. Judges want to scare you because they're all gambling and banking on you not knowing the law. Go ask the superintendents how much do they make because of the kids are staying in school. So this is why they don't want truancy and stuff to happen, because they get paid for the kids being in school, like a write-off. When you go to jail, they get paid for you being in jail. It's like a write-off. Realize throughout all these transactions and all these trades, when you're not getting paid, somebody is. Even when your card declined, or when you denied for a credit or for a loan, somebody got that money. Y'all not listening to me. For those who are, if you would like to know more, you can go to www.infiniteinsight2022.com. You know what to do. Like, comment, and follow for more.
So let me start with first thanking God, because God is the ultimate source of light and frequency in all things. And God has put the frequency, or God has elevated me to a frequency, or put me around a specific frequency to come into this information. So because God has did that, I got to first thank God. Second is, I got to show y'all this because some of y'all is going to need this help. And therefore, I'm going to be your brother and I'm going to help you out. Right? This right here, for those of y'all that don't understand. Let me clean my camera. I want you to first understand, according to my local jurisdiction, promise to pay is a guarantee. A guarantee is credit, according to the laws of my local jurisdiction, right? And I'm in a local jurisdiction of Texas area. That's the local jurisdiction over here, right? And that's you can look it up under Texas Penal Code 32.32 in regards to property, because any kind of identification, any kind of social security card numbers, XYZ, all of that is your property, and therefore the title is property when you're looking up the local jurisdiction code for credit, right? So right here, this is the bargain, right? This is the consideration. You're going to purchase the motor vehicle on credit, right? So you're going to give them credit and they're going to give you the motor vehicle. That's the bargain right there. The misrepresentation is the amount of credit provided to me. Why is it misrepresentation? Because your promise to pay is a guarantee, which is the credit. So you have provided the credit to this over here, Nunya, that's the seller. This over here, none of your business, that's me, because it's personal information. So what I did was, unbeknownst to me at the time, now that I learned, unbeknownst to me at the time, right, the consideration was I gave him credit, this promise to pay / a guarantee, I gave it to him, right? And in exchange, him gave me this personal information right here, and my Kevin Hart's voice right there, that's my car information. He gave me the car for the credit that I gave to him. But remember, unbeknownst to me at the time, I was giving him the credit. So down here, it says the amount of credit provided to me or on my behalf. Well, the first sentence is definitely inaccurate. Why? Because under Texas laws, a dealership cannot promise to pay, nor tender cash in a transaction under Texas laws. So therefore, he didn't provide anything to me, but rather, on my behalf, someone else stepped in and they claimed that they gave him the money on my behalf. And because they did that, that would then mean under Texas laws and definition, they acted as an agent for me and gave him a loan. So when they gave him the loan, he is the user of this credit amount. And because he used the credit amount, the finance charge belongs to him. And this is the national debt that he doesn't want to pay back when he gets it. So therefore, he fraudulently misrepresents this credit as his own.
So whenever you're using your name with any creditor, you have to have some kind of power of attorney at the transaction, at the inception of the transaction. Because you got to remember, the system only deals with debtors and creditors. So in every transaction, you got two parties, the debtor and then you got the creditor. So if you're not the debtor, then you should be coming with a power of attorney. Why? Because the power of attorney creates the agency, or it deals with the relationship between you and the property that you're actually using, conveying, or pledging. All right? It's very important that you understand that if you go to a transaction and you enter that transaction in the name of your principal and you're not operating as the agent in use of that principal, then the other party that you contract with takes on the place of agency. They become the agent and you act as surety in reference to your legal identity, because the legal person is an entity. And if you don't come in as the agent over your own entity when you dealing with another third party, then the third party takes your place as agent, because there's always going to be a debtor and a creditor relationship in every transaction. Very important for you to remember. Okay? Now it says that, all right, so basically, in order for, let me explain something else before I continue. All right, so basically, like I said, if you don't go and enter the transaction as the agent in use of your name, then the other party becomes the agent by operation of law, because the person doesn't have an agent. So anytime you go and you do business, if you don't have a power of attorney to attach to the contract, then you're not the agent. Where you are the agent generally, but you receive no compensation as surety. Because in order for you to be compensated, in order for you to get the benefits when you're using something other than yourself that you have a right to receive benefits from, it has to be evidence that how you're using the property. If the property is not being used, if you're not using it as a surety to it, then it should be evidence that you're using it as an agent to it. So that's why the power of attorney is so important. Now let's keep on. It says an agent means an attorney in fact, or other person designated to act for the principal in the agency. So an agent, all the agent is an attorney in fact, y'all. That's all the agent is. But the reason why you gotta have the power of attorney, because if the other party don't know about the fiduciary relationship.
Let me show you a couple of things about the passport. This is a passport card, and the first name they place on there is your surname, which would be referred to as your last name, which you do not own. Technically, your parents didn't even give you that name. Why? Because right below on the passport card, it says given names, which would be your first and middle name if you have one. So don't confuse the two. Another thing about this passport card is the stars or asterisk. As you can see, there are 4 on here. The stars or asterisks are associated with your status as a person, whether they can detain you or not. The most stars or asterisks you can have is 5. As I read from Black's Law, the definition of a passport is for safe conduct, to travel from country to country without arrest or detention on the account of war. On the back of the passport card, it says for international land travel, which is why I say it can be used in place of a license. 4 and 5 stars are essentially do not detain statuses. And this is how you open a bank account without tying it to your social.
You want to see who's bad? Come on, let's do it. Let's see who's bad, man. Come on, let's go.
He got pulled over supposedly for wrong traffic stop, or he made up some type of traffic infraction.
Well, yeah, were you up too far?
No, I'm just wrong.
Right.
One pocket right here at the bottom, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do have a question. Can we sit down and have lunch sometime?
You want to have lunch?
Yes, sir.
I don't.
So we can talk about.
I don't really get enough time for lunch.
All right, man. It'd be on me.
You know, what'd be really cool is if you start like a YouTube series and then
I do YouTube, but I would like to talk to you.
Oh no, man. I'm
Man,
sorry.
it'd be on me, man.
I appreciate the offer.
I am recording right now too,
No,
by the
no,
way.
totally.
Yeah, man. So I mean, I just want to show you what I do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I appreciate your service.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much.
Thank you. Have a better night.
Come